Hello everyone and welcome to Beamish Bookworms. We shall continue reading the classic Frankenstein. Chapter 14. The Monster's Wish. The tale of the monster had ended and he was looking at me with questioning eyes as if he wanted to know what I thought of it. Perplexed whether to pity him for the cruelty he had to endure or to condemn him for his crimes, I was speechless. What could I say? I just wanted to know what he expected of me. After a brief silence, I asked, "Now that your wait is over and we are here, please tell me what you want of me." At this question, the eyes of the monster glimmered and he answered, "To survive in this world, we all need people around us. Like you have your friends and your family to take care of you when you need them. But I don't have anyone. I'm lonely and I feel horrible about it. I also need a friend who would understand me, help me, sympathize with me, love me, look after me, and talk to me." I was bewildered. "A friend? What do you mean?" "As you created me, create someone who is as ugly as I, who will not turn her back on me because of my ugliness. I want you to give life to my companion, my wife," he concluded. I was furious at his unreasonable demand. "What? You want me to bring another wild monster into the world? No, I would never do that. If you want, you can murder me here, but I won't repeat the mistake of creating someone like you. Please try and understand that I'm not here to kill you, but I wish to live a life where I have someone to depend upon. I have tried my best to live with humans, but they cannot tolerate me. This is your fault. Honestly, tell me, can you bear looking at me?" Calmly replied my monster. "No, but it doesn't mean that I would produce another hostile creature. Just because of you, I won't do it again," said I. The monster was unable to take this rejection. He started rolling his eyes and making horrible faces and exploded with anger. "Did you think twice before creating me? I am a monster because you made me one. If you can't do it, be ready to see a dead face every day in your family and in the world. And then I will kill as well. Kill you if you don't fulfill what I wish." I was scared of the way the monster reacted and moved away, closing my eyes. The next moment, as I opened my eyes, I saw him sitting on the ground, pleading. Please, I beg of you, I don't want anything else. Just give me my companion and I will go away from here. I will not hurt anybody. Please do this for me." His emotional outburst touched my heart and I contemplated if I was right in denying him his friend. Yes, he was alone. I was the reason for his loneliness and nobody would sympathize with him because of his ugliness. The creature was intelligent and also very sensitive. So could I not do this for him? I was his creator and I owed him something. The monster could see I was in a turmoil and continued with his argument. "I promise you, if you do this for me, we would go far away where humans don't live and would set up our own world without hurting anyone. No one would come to know of our existence. I am lonely, Victor. I will be grateful to you for life." I knew I was softening inside after hearing his story. I couldn't refrain myself from sympathizing with his pathetic condition. He came up to me and stood in front of me, searching my face for the decision I had made. His horrid face forced me to reason again. Would it be right to produce another monster? But he did promise that he and his companion would leave Europe. I thought it over for a while and finally announced my decision. I will do it. I will create your friend. But promise me again that after I create her, you too will go far away. I assure you of that. Our existence would not be known. I thank you for this. Now, I plead you to start your work immediately and create my companion. I will be keeping an eye on you. And when the work will near its completion, I will come back to take her. Satisfied, he left and ran into the mountains with an astonishing pace. He faded into the whiteness of the snow on the ground. It was late evening when I left the mountain top, and I traveled the entire night to finally reach the bottom of the valley. As I descended the mountain, I cried and reproached myself for the result of my work. It was dawn when I reached Chamonix, and without any further delay, left for Geneva to prepare myself for the terrible task ahead. Chapter 15. The Second Monster. My arrival at home initially brought joy to the family members, but as the time passed by, they sensed that something was wrong with me. All of them asked me several times if I was well, but I was not in the right frame of mind to answer any of their questions. My mind was focused on only one thing, and that was the creation of another monster. I wasn't able to muster enough courage to start my work just days after I had returned home. But having promised the monster, I was fearful that he might attack if his demands weren't met. Everyone in my family was upset about my poor health and helped me recover with their care and affection. I had to start work to save my family from the death threat of the monster, so I prepared myself for it. It was only after a few weeks that I finally figured out how to proceed. I picked up my books again and studied them to refresh what I had learned during the creation of the first monster. I was excited about something again. My father too could see my health was improving steadily. One day, he came up to me and said, "Son, I'm happy to see you taking an interest in things again. We must leave the past behind us and live in the present to shape our future. I hope you understand what I mean. I am talking about you and Elizabeth. It's time to fulfill the promise that you made to your mother. You and Elizabeth should now marry. I'm aging now, and who knows for how much longer I have to live. Son, this is the right time." I agreed to his wishes, told him of my love for Elizabeth, and assured him of my intentions of marrying her as soon as possible. But even as I kept up a calm appearance in front of everybody, inside I was a tormented soul. Before I could think of marrying Elizabeth, I had to create a wife for the monster. I had another promise to fulfill. Though every step I took towards fulfilling my promise made my heart writhe in agony, I had no choice but to do it and protect my family. While I was staying at home trying to put things together for the second monster, I read about some new discoveries related to the human body taking place in England. I decided to go to England to take my work forward. I was scared of my secret being revealed. So, for my family's safety, I planned to go away and work alone. I informed my father about my intentions of going out of Geneva again for a few months. I told him I meant to complete some studies, and afterwards then I would come back and marry Elizabeth. My father and Elizabeth were relieved to see me recovering. They were happy with my decision, but they didn't want me to go alone. So they planned to send Henry with me to England. I agreed with the arrangement, and by the end of September, Henry and I left for England, crossing France, Germany, and Holland on our way. I had already calculated that to complete my work, I would need not more than 6 months in England. But with Henry by my side, I couldn't really begin, for he didn't know anything of my plans. For the first 2 months, we visited some friends in Scotland and travelled through the English lake. I would think about my project every day, but kept delaying it. Then a thought struck me. What if the monster was keeping an eye on us, following us everywhere we went? And if he knew about the delay, he could harm my loved ones at Geneva. No, the terrible ordeal of creating the female monster had to begin. The promise had to be met. I would panic at every small thing, even after I had made up my mind. When I didn't receive any letter for some days from my family, I suspected the worst. Henry could also be in danger, so I always kept a check on where he was going or what he was doing. All this was becoming maddening. So I finally made up my mind to begin. The first thing was to learn about the new discoveries made in the human body and arrange for the required instruments and materials. I got everything together and made notes on what I would need to do and where I would need to go. I went up to Henry one day and told him, "Henry, you have been a great help. But now I want you to stay here with our friends in Scotland for a month or two. I desire to be alone for some time. I will come back after things are better, and I promise you that I will use this time alone to refresh my mind and soul." Understanding what I wished, he replied, "Victor, I know you, and I will never stop you from doing what's good for you. So you go wherever you feel it is right for you to go, and come back as the Victor I have always known. Now go and come back quickly." I was relieved after Henry's reassuring words and now focused on my mission. Leaving Henry behind, I went off to a barren group of islands called the Orkney Islands, situated off the coast of Scotland. I decided to stay at one of the islands. It was like living on a big rock, and not more than 6 people inhabited it. I had taken on rent a small, rickety hut. The roof was thatched. 2 seedy rooms had plaster coming off the walls. Doors were without its hinges, and the furniture, it was in a miserable condition. Even in this hopeless environment, I had to work. So I got the things repaired and set the space right to convert the rooms into my laboratory. All settled down, I finally began. The body parts were first assembled, and the woman's body started taking shape. I loathed my work even more, recalling the days of my earlier mistake. Sometimes I didn't enter the laboratory because of the guilt in my heart. I had to drag myself to the laboratory to go on. And there were times when I worked day and night without rest or food. I was like a man possessed. My mind stopped thinking of anything else other than the promise to the monster. Devoid of all sensation, I continued working in the nightmarish laboratory. I was anxious at times, sensing the monster secretly watching me from the window outside. As I was nearing completion, the ghastly form of the woman appeared to me as evil, and even while sleeping, the body lying in the laboratory would haunt me. Okay, let's stop here. The story is taking on grisly and morbid proportions. We sympathize with the monster for having had to endure an excruciating existence. But on the other hand, we feel he emotionally blackmailed Victor into getting his own way. Don't you think? Another monster. How's that going to pan out? Let's find out next time. Now, for the list of the difficult words. Grab a pen. Perplexed, bewildered, hostile, outburst, contemplated, turmoil, refrain, pathetic, reproached, muster, tormented, writhe, ordeal, and rickety. That's all from Beamish Bookworms. Till next time, happy reading, everyone. If you enjoyed listening to this story, please do like and subscribe to Beamish Bookworms. Please press the bell icon to get notified when a new story comes out. Meanwhile, happy reading, everyone!